Hello students, I am Professor Isha Medirata from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. We've started with the third chapter of our syllabus, that is semiconductors. And in the previous video, we discussed what are optoelectronic devices, and one of the optoelectronic devices was covered, that is LED. And in today's video, we'll be discussing what a photodiode and a phototransistor is. Starting with the first topic for today, that is a photodiode. Let's see what a photodiode is. A photodiode is a semiconductor device which converts light absorbed into current. So basically I can say a photodiode acts like a photodetector or a photosensor. It will absorb light and convert this absorbed light into current. So you can say depending upon the intensity of light absorbed, the current is going to vary, and thus we say it acts like a sensor or a detector. Let's see how a photodiode looks like. So the symbol has a triangle with a vertical line and two arrows pointing inward, which means light is being absorbed. In the next diagram on the right hand side, it indicates how a photodiode actually looks like, the physical interpretation of a photodiode. Let's move on to the working principle of a photodiode, that is photoelectric effect. Photoelectric itself means conversion of the absorbed photons into electric current. So photoelectric effect is a phenomenon in which electrically charged particles are released from or within a material when it absorbs electromagnetic radiation. What do you mean by electromagnetic radiation? It is a series of photons. In short, I would say light. Let's see what exactly photoelectric effect is. So in the diagram, there is one atom of a semiconductor shown which has electrons in several orbits. Now what exactly happens? You can just see indicated by number 1, there is a photon which is incident on this semiconductor material. What will this do? This incident photon will release electron from the atom, and the electron emitted is indicated by number 2. So this electron is emitted because of the incident light, and that is the reason we can call it a photoelectron also. Now in this case what happens, because the electron is being released, we say electric current is generated. Let's have a look at another diagram which says that there are electrons present in the semiconductor material and photons are absorbed. When these photons strike, so two photons are striking, releasing two electrons, and this is the meaning of photoelectric effect. It is emission of electrons when photons are incident. Now moving ahead, we'll see what are the materials used in the construction of a photodiode. Now see, the photodiode output is never in the form of light. That means it never uses direct bandgap semiconductors. Instead, photodiode uses indirect bandgap semiconductor in its constructions. Let's see some of the examples. Some of the common examples are silicon, germanium, then you have indium gallium arsenide, then you have indium arsenide antimonide. So it's an alloy of indium, arsenic and antimony. Now let's see the construction of a photodiode. So how a photodiode is constructed? A photodiode is a PN junction only. You can say a special type of a PN junction diode. So it consists of a P region and an N region. So P region which we call an anode, N region which we call the cathode. So P acts as the positive, N acts as the negative. In between them, the green colored, you see the junction, you see the diffusion, where the diffusion of both the materials have taken place results in a PN junction diode. You can see a silicon nitride coating over here. There is a metallic coating done here so that light absorption is maximum. So what happens when this light is incident on the junction? You can see the radiation is clearly incident on the junction. So when the light or the photons strike the junction, they release electrons from there. We'll be understanding in detail when I start the working. So we say that as only the junction is exposed to radiation, the other portion is painted black, or we say it is metallized, so that light absorption is maximum. So this is exactly how the photodiode is constructed. Now let's move on to the working of a photodiode. Working of a photodiode always works in reverse bias. It is designed to work in reverse bias because what happens in reverse bias, there is a huge depletion layer and the light is exactly made to fall on this depletion layer. We have working of a photodiode explained with the help of this diagram. You can see in the diagram that there is a reverse bias connection done. That means P-type is connected to the negative terminal of the battery and N-type is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. What does this mean? The majority carriers are moving away from the junction. What will happen because of this? The depletion layer is going to increase. Now what happens? In this case, you are increasing the supply voltage. What will happen? Depletion layer is increasing. But let me just give you an example. You can just see that there is an electron present in P-type. We can never say that P-type means it is ideal P-type. It has some electrons as minority. What will happen to these minority carriers? These minority carriers will move towards the junction, but that will constitute a very less amount of current because they are in minority. By giving the energy, what is happening? By giving the energy, only the energy to the minority carriers is increasing. The number of carriers are not increasing. And now what happens if we incident photons in this case? We have a huge depletion layer due to the reverse bias. So in this huge region where there are immobile atoms, if you incident photons, the covalent bonds break and electrons are released. And so we say there is an increase in the number of minority carriers because of the absorption of photons. And this leads to flow of electrons and we get current. That means the device has absorbed or sensed photons. Let's understand with the help of energy band diagram. Before that, the applied voltage supplies energy to minority carriers, but it does not increase their number. And so light is used as a source to increase these charge carriers. Now let's see the energy band diagram. In the energy band diagram, you can just see P side and N side, conduction and valence of both. What is happening in the wide depletion layer? Now why is the depletion layer wide? Because of the reverse bias condition. There is an electron. Now we say there is a photo-generated hole because the electron which was not able to move due to reverse bias, now by absorbing the photon, what happens? The electron moves to the conduction band and there is a hole generated over here. Because the photon is used to generate this hole, we say it is a photo-generated hole, and the electron which moves ahead, which moves to the conduction, is a photo-generated electron. So this entire portion happens within the depletion layer because that has increased in width. And this is how a photodiode works. Moving ahead, we have characteristics of a photodiode. Now because we say photodiode works in reverse bias condition means we have a negative, that is reverse voltage and reverse current. If you want to plot the characteristics of photodiode, the photodiode characteristics actually are with respect to light. More the light absorbed, more is the current. Because more is the absorption of photons, more will be the release of electrons and more will be the current. So you can clearly see from the graph, I1, I2, I3, I4 are the different values of currents, in which I say I1 is the dark current which has the least value. As light absorption increases, there is an arrow downward indicating light increase. So as the light increases, the current is going to increase, and we can say I4 is greater than I3 is greater than I2 is greater than I1. So directly we say that there is a dependence of output current with light. Now let's see some applications of photodiode. Starting with the first one, they are used in smoke detectors. Next we have, they are used as photosensors. Obviously they are sensing or detecting light, so they are used as photosensors. And then we have, they are used in CD players and remote controls. So these are some of the applications of photodiode. Now let us move on to the next topic for today, that is a phototransistor. What is a transistor in general? A transistor has an additional layer apart from a PN junction. So you can have either a PNP transistor or an NPN transistor. In both the cases, there is a PN junction and a third layer additional. Let's see what a phototransistor is. So phototransistor was first proposed in the year 1951 by William Shockley. A phototransistor is a device which is able to sense light, and according to the light sensed, it alters the current that flows between the collector and emitter. And this variation is according to the level or intensity of light absorbed. So talking about a photodiode, it only absorbs light, but transistor also acts as a control. And you can see the schematic symbol of a phototransistor. A phototransistor has the 3 layers which consists of collector, base and emitter. So symbol is almost similar to a normal transistor. The only difference is there is a circle indicating 2 arrows inward. What these 2 arrows inward indicate? It indicates that light is being absorbed. The right hand side diagram indicates the different packages in which a phototransistor is made available. You can have a phototransistor as a 2-legged device or a 3-legged device. Now we have a base, but actually the base is never connected. See just the symbol, you can see that there is only a base shown, but no connection is made with the base. Is only used for biasing, but it is not connected. Now let's see the construction and working of a phototransistor. Phototransistor has generally a larger base and collector areas with the base mostly left disconnected. This is how a phototransistor looks like. You can see there is an N, P and N. First N indicates there's a combination of base which has P-N junction. Then you have a collector and the other N as emitter. You have 2 metal contacts. One metal contact is connected to the collector and the other one is connected to the emitter. The base is left unconnected. What is the actual use of base here? It is only used as a part of PN junction because it is a P-type semiconductor. And what it does? How does it work? What happens when light falls on the PN junction here? When light falls on this PN junction, the portion where there is depletion region created, so this absorbed light, what it does, it releases the electrons and that leads to a flow of current. More is the light absorbed, more will be the current flowing from the collector to the emitter. And this is how a phototransistor works. Some of the applications of phototransistor: it is used in light controlling and detection. Because it controls the current flowing between collector and emitter, it is used as a controlling device also. Next, it is used in punch card readers. It can be used in counting systems as counters, and it can also be used in lasers for light sensing. Now let us have a look at the comparison between a photodiode and a phototransistor. Photodiode and phototransistor, both of them absorb light, but let's see what are the basic differences between the two. So starting with the first one, photodiode only generates current as an output, whereas phototransistor generates current and voltage both. Because if the current between collector and emitter varies, there will be a voltage across the two. And that is what makes it different if we compare with a photodiode. Next we have, photodiode has a faster response, phototransistor has a slow response. Next, photodiode is less sensitive, phototransistor is highly sensitive. Coming on to the next one, photodiode works in reverse bias, whereas a phototransistor works in forward bias because it has emitter more negative as compared to the collector. And we have a flow from collector to emitter, which is being regulated by the light absorbed. So this was a comparison between photodiode and phototransistor. So in today's video, we have seen another type of optoelectronic device, that is photodiode. We also have discussed what is a phototransistor, the construction, working and applications of both. Hope you have understood all the topics I covered in today's video. With this topic, I end my chapter Semiconductors. I will be starting with a new chapter, Measurements, in my coming video. Till then, take care. Thank you.